Greetings, everyone. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for the encouraging words, the trust that you have in my ability to be able to convey my thoughts to you. I really appreciated that because it gave me some of the confidence that I need to go forth with this journey that I'm starting today. And I really appreciate all of your support, all your kind words, and all of your encouragement. It means a real lot to me, and more than you probably think. And I really, really, really do appreciate it, so thank you. As we start off this first webcast, I thought that we would start at the beginning. And at the beginning means knowing who you are. Once you understand who you are, you can move in the direction of your own dreams. Once you understand who you are, you could make decisions based on your own belief system. I don't believe that anyone could tell you who you are. No one could tell you what your being is. No one could tell you what your consciousness is, what your rapture, your euphoria is. You have to seek out your own depths and figure that out. You have to know what sparks you and your spirit. And only you could know that. The way I thought that I can convey to you one way that you can go in search of that is to explain how I began to understand who I was. And of course, your environment and people around you help shape who you are. But the depths of you, the spirit of you, was there when you were formed. One thing that I remember from a very young age was, I must have been about 3 or 4 years old, and I was in the bathroom. My father knocked on the bathroom door and said, "Who's in there? What are you doing?" I didn't think it was appropriate to say that I was dookie. I just didn't think that was appropriate. So I searched my little head and I said, "I'm moving my bowels." After I came out of the bathroom, my father started telling me how smart I was. And I believe at that juncture, he started paying attention to me more. And throughout my life, as a young child, my father always talked about my thinking ability and my capacity to be able to figure things out, and he encouraged me to do so. He always taught me to have an open mind and to receive things and figure it out for yourself. Don't just believe. Don't let everyone else tell you what to believe. And that's kind of what I did. And so therefore, I was always a thinker from a young age. I just couldn't accept what everybody else did. It just didn't fit for me. I needed to understand it for myself. So I would think things through. I would think about what I thought about. Also, I remember at a young age, I was a little girl at my grandmother's house on 60 Clinton Street in Patterson. And there were a lot of adults around. And my grandfather was saying someone had wronged him. And he was saying, "I said this and I said that." And he was going on with the different things he said. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "To myself." And as you probably know, back in the day, young kids don't get in grown folks' conversations. So I remember thinking to myself, well, how did they know what he was thinking? Like, what difference did it make if he just said it to himself? And I think that at that juncture in my life, I decided that I was always going to tell people what I think, because they weren't going to just be saying anything to me and doing anything to me. And see, that was my spirit, just learning how to believe in myself, learning how to trust what I thought and figure out why I thought that. Like, I didn't have to just accept what everybody said for me. And so I moved forward, and as an adult, I got married at a young age. I was 18 when I got married, and my husband and I worked through certain things. We fought through other things, and moving forward, and I still was trying to figure out this thing called life. What is it? Who am I? Why can't I accept the things that other people accept? And taking showers in the morning, thoughts would go through my head, and I would think things through. I would hear it, and some of the times I would share it with my husband on the way to work. But inevitably, during that day, whatever I was thinking about would come to fruition. And I remember saying to my co-workers and my boss, I was just thinking about that this morning. And I said it so much that I felt as though they thought I was lying. And so then I started telling them ahead of time. Then I remembered a saying that God's sheep would know his voice. And when these things started coming to fruition, and I started telling people ahead of time, I think that I was a little afraid to tell people ahead of time because I thought that if it didn't happen, then they're going to think that I'm full of it. But it really, really happened. Things would happen. And I distinctively remember another time, I just felt like something was going to go wrong one day. And about 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon, while I was at work, I get a phone call telling me that my oldest son had been in a car accident and it flipped on the hood. And I stood up and I was like, what? And everybody came out of their office running into my office saying, what's the matter, what's the matter? And I told them that my son had been in a car accident and it flipped on the hood. And everybody got excited and they were wanting to take me up to the hospital, but I worked 45 minutes away from my job. And I thought, again, I said, well, if they drive me up there, I'm not going to have my car. Then I'll have to find a way back to get my car, or I'll be late for work tomorrow, but whatever. I said, no, I'll drive. So I stood up and I said to myself, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And right now, I need a sound mind to go through this. So I drove, but I engaged the radio. So my point to you at this juncture is that I started hearing the voice of God guiding me in different things, in different avenues of my life. And I started appreciating it. When people would try to go against what I knew was right, I would stand in the courage of my conviction. People will come to me with a strong argument and good reasoning. And I have the good sense to be able to concede my position, particularly when they come with reasons why and how. And we can have a nice conversation and I can understand where they're coming from. Sometimes it's appropriate for me and sometimes it's not. But in any event, it opens up opportunities to be able to discuss things. It opens up opportunities to learn. And there's one thing about life, there's nothing like learning. So I enjoyed sharing with you this evening. And I say, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. Good night.